Yo, what is up, everyone? So, as you guys know, version 56 just got released pretty recently. Along with it, the new Barber and the new Fox came out. So, today I'm going to be ranking them and all the other monsters in the entire game on a tier list. I'm going to be basing this tier list off of 3 different things. So, number 1 is how much harm can it inflict? How much does it stop you from getting loot inside of the facility or bringing loot back from the facility? And number 2 is how often does it spawn? If a super dangerous mob spawns almost never, then I'm going to be definitely putting it lower on the list than its actual amount of harm it can do. Number 3 is, can it give something back to you? If it can give something back, it's going to be placed lower, because this is based off of how much it harms the run. Okay, now that we know what I'm ranking off of, let's start off with the Harmless tier. So at the bottom of the tier list, I have anti-coils and roaming locusts. This is pretty obvious. They literally do fucking nothing to you. They can't harm you in any way possible. A spore lizard, it can harm you, but only if you dive straight into its fucking mouth, which you could just not do. And tulip snakes can kill you if there's a dog nearby, but that rarely never happens. Okay, now moving up the list, we're at the D tier. Here's where some of these things can catch you off guard, or you slip up and can actually die by one of these. Starting off, we have the slime. Now the slime is really not dangerous at all because you could just jump right over it and it does nothing. It moves super slow, and the only points where it could maybe kill you is if you're super heavy and you're dying to get out and you try and jump over one of those. It may fucking rape you. But other than that, you never die by it. Next, we have the bees. Now, the bees are super low because they can give you a lot of money back. They are pretty dangerous if you don't know how to properly navigate around them and put them back in the ship. And never ever get your teammate to bait the bees out and then you go grab it and put it into the ship. Because then the bees will be wild, and then they are an A tier threat. Next up, we have loot bugs. Super easy to kill, takes your items. If you're in deep and you have a horde of items, no shovel with you, then they could be pretty annoying and higher up on the list, but that never really happens. And at the top of the D tier, we have the snare flea. If you don't see it coming and you're not nearby an exit, so you could exit and it dies, then yeah, it will kill you. Okay, now we're getting a little controversial with this C tier. Yes, I do have the Fox on here. If what you're looking for is to get loot and to come back into the ship with loot, the Fox does not stop any of that at all. Next, we have the spider. It's large, you won't miss it. It's slower than you when you're sprinting, even if you're carrying a couple items, and it's not the most difficult thing in the world to kill with a shovel. And we have the bamboon hawk on here. They're super fast, and when there's a lot of them and you accidentally store your items outside, they just take all of it, and it's super fucking annoying. Now this might seem a little crazy to you, but Butler is a C tier. Just stick with your pals and he won't attack you. And he also gives you a knife in return, so what would have been a B tier is a C tier. Even if you're deep in the facility and you're alone and you have items and you find a butler, come across a butler, he still takes 10 whole seconds to whip his knife out. By then, you're out of there. And next we have the mimic. Super easy to kill with a shovel. 2 people, 2 shovels. If you lose that, then you guys must be actually special. Okay, now we have the B tier, where things might get a little questionable. Up first, we have the worm. I would have placed him lower if he didn't eat your items as well, but since he eats your items, he is going to be in B tier. It's super easy to deal with. Just drop your items and run one direction, doesn't really matter where. Next, we have the nutcracker. I'm placing it in B tier now. It should be in C tier since it gives you a whole shotgun. but as well as being pretty dangerous. But recently, every time I've been facing Nutcracker with a shovel, he starts moving forward even after he does his detection thing. So I think that's a new update, which makes it super hard to kill. And now this one's pretty questionable, but Ghost Girl is definitely B tier. You can see her coming from a mile away, and you can just drop your items, run around her for a bit, and she goes away. And she only targets one person. Now the new mob, the Barber. I've only seen him once, so this is based off of one experience, or two experiences with the Barber. He's not fast at all. He can be pretty dangerous if you run into him, which makes him pretty dangerous in close quarters. He does do an insta-kill, which is pretty dangerous, but he makes a lot of noise, and you'll see him coming, and you can just back up, and you'll be good. Nobody's going to agree with me on this, but Jester is B tier. Just get out, and then get back in, you're good. There's plenty of spots where you could jump up on and be safe from him. And he also gives you 40 seconds of warning. Unless you're super deep into the facility, he's not that much of a problem. The Bracken, just check your meat. He's dangerous, but just check your meat. Same thing goes with Coilhead. Okay, now we're getting to the guys who can actually fuck up your entire run and make you reset. The Old Bird, not quite S tier. He could be very dangerous, but I feel like he's more of a help than a threat. Being said, he's still super dangerous, but his missiles can get you out of mud, can get you across the fence in Artifice, I'm talking. And deals with other mobs as well, other outdoor mobs. So if you have one roaming around, it could actually help you. Next, the Dog. This motherfucker is dangerous. He's the reason I've pushed the talk on, and he makes transporting loot a living hell. Now for the pinnacle of Lethal Company monsters, S tier. Second place belongs to Giant. The Giant is faster than you, can see super far, one taps you, eats your items, and multiple can spawn on many moons. And he spawns often. To kill him is super hard too, because he has a shit ton of hit points. I can't think of a greater outdoor threat than the Giant.
Fucking toddler. Oh my god. Oh my god! He's still following my shits. Oh my god!
And in first place, I have the Thumper. Thumper is also faster than you, but indoors. And there's no little niche thing about him. There's no real counter. He's just good all around with no drawbacks. Without a shovel, you will die. And yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know if you guys agree in the comments. Let me know what you would change. And thank you for watching.